Hey, it's Robin. So, this is kind of a weird impromptu video. It's just really nice at where I am right now. So I thought it would be really pretty place to just take a little video. And I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about, but then I kind of got thinking about something that makes me really insecure and kind of stressed, and because I've been documenting more mental health stuff, this just seemed like a good one to talk about. And it's kind of like jobs. I work in retail. I've been working in retail since I was 19. I worked at a salon, I worked in a mall, and now I work in a garden center, all doing retail. Making a little bit above minimum wage for all of these jobs, which isn't great, especially when you're 25 years old. And I just kind of have a lot of insecurities because I feel like I need to be doing a lot more with my life and with myself. But then there's part of me that's like, our generation, like my generation, is so different right now. Like, we're very much okay with quitting jobs and starting new jobs. And, you know, you can always change your career, whereas like our parents' generations was, no, you do this job for 30 years, 40 years, and then you retire. Because, you know, you get a pension plan, you get benefits, but it's so hard to come across those kinds of things these days. Like, pension plans and benefits are really hard to find in jobs, which is kind of crazy to think, because like that's what kind of what we rely on. Like, especially when I turned 25, OHIP, which is the Ontario Health, I'm no longer covered for my prescription medications, and I have 2 inhalers. I have a hypothyroid, Synthroid, my thyroid medication. I also have my antidepressant that I'm on now. So that's, I don't know, 5 medications or something that I now have to pay for, and birth control as well, that I have to pay for out of pocket now, which I already had to pay for my birth control. It's not covered, which is whatever, it's fine. But now when you add on all those other medications that also aren't covered, it's really crazy. And I didn't really think about how expensive that is for the people that have other more severe medical conditions, or medications that cost more money, or medications they have to have refilled more often, or people that have lower income. Like I said, I make above minimum wage, but there's a lot of people that don't make minimum wage, and I don't make a lot over minimum wage, like $1. I think a little over $1 over minimum wage right now in Ontario, which again, it's not fantastic, but it's not horrible. It's better than nothing. And I don't have benefits with my job or anything, but I am fortunate enough to be full-time right now. But I'm also only seasonal, so when they let me go, whether that be in the summer or beginning of fall, I'm out of a job now. And like, I kind of set a little goal for myself, because I love Halloween, I love fall, I love anything and everything spooky. So I've always wanted to work at Spirit Halloween, and I know that's kind of a weird thing, especially because like there's been some like scandal, I don't want to say scandals, but some whatever things that people don't necessarily like about Spirit Halloween or Spencer's as a whole. And I always, like, when I was a teenager, when I was a kid, I always wanted to work at Spirit Halloween. Like, that just seemed like the coolest place ever, and I never did. And now I'm 25, I don't have a relationship, I don't have a career. So if Spirit Halloween opens up here this year, for the seasonal, I might just go do that for a couple months, just work part-time, maybe get a second part-time job, I don't know. But like, it's crazy to think, because like my dad just retired in November, and he stayed on an extra 7 or 8 months at his job from when he was supposed to retire because of COVID, because he was like the youngest of the old guys that was left. So basically everyone that kind of really knew what they were doing had retired, and he was the last one there. So he ended up staying on a little longer, just because with COVID and everything, he just whatever, stuck it out. And he retired in November, and you know, COVID's a thing, so he hasn't really been able to do much with his retirement. And I mean, that's not great. He also retired in the winter, so I mean, whatever. But like, it's just kind of crazy to think, like my dad, I still rely on my dad for a lot of stuff. Like, my dad's got my dog right now for the weekend, because I was at work for 9 hours, and I can't leave her locked up inside all day, so he took her with him, and he's got her for the weekend, which is really, like, I'm really grateful for that. But also, like, it's one of those things where, you know, he had this really great career and made a lot of money, and I just keep comparing myself to what my dad did, and I know I'm not going to work in the same field my dad did. He's very good at math and sciences. I am not. And that was largely part of what his job was. And also, when he was, 25, he could just, like, he didn't actually go to school for the career he worked in, sorry, he's retired. He didn't go to school for that. He just was able to get a job, which most people didn't. Now that's a program where I think it's 3 or 4 years to be able to get into it, and it's a very hard program too. Like, it's very challenging, and you have to do a co-op or an apprenticeship or whatever. And like, that's crazy to think about these days. And I don't know. Like, I went to school for tourism and travel, and then I went to school to become a makeup artist, and then I was going to go back to school this fall for agriculture, and that's not happening now. And like, I'm borderline, like, I'm still really upset, because I feel like, I have to go to school for like 2 or 3 years, and I'm already 25, and if I'm putting it off again, and I'm not going back to school till I'm 26, I'm not going to graduate till I'm like 28 or 29. I just feel like so much of my life is just going away, and I haven't traveled, and I really wanted to travel. Obviously, I did tourism and travel. That was something I was really passionate about, and I haven't done any of that. And it's like weird, because I'm working, but then I can't take time off because I'm essential right now, and I'm full-time, and even at my previous job I was full-time, and it was hard to be able to get time off. And even then, like, traveling's expensive. So, you know, you have the money to travel, but you don't get paid enough, and you can't take the time off work, you can't afford to take the time off work because you need the money for all your other expenses. And it's just this endless cycle of me feeling like I'm worthless because I can't, like, it's hard, you know? And I feel like I'm kind of talking in circles and rambling and maybe not actually finishing any of my thoughts because I do that a lot. But, you know, like, I want a career. I want to be successful. One of my biggest fears is being a failure, and I feel like that's what I am right now, and that's one of my bigger stressors. Because I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And I don't even know, like, everyone, like, this whole saying is like, oh, if you work a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life, or you just want to choose a career that makes you happy. Like, I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know what passions I have. I don't really know, like, what I would want in a career. So it's really hard because I'm like, I feel lost, and I don't want to go back to school and spend all this money to go to school for something that I'm not passionate about. But at the same time, I also want a job that makes money, and money shouldn't matter. Money doesn't equal happiness, but money is incredibly fucking important. End of the line is money is important, especially when you live in a place like Canada or America. You know, money is important. Everything's expensive. Money is important. And, like, I always thought, like, I'd buy a house. My dad, when he was my age, owned his second house. You know, when he was 30, he was on his 33, 34, 36, mid-30s, so 10 years older than I am. He was on his third house that he built with my mom. Like, they had it built. They bought property and they had a house built, which is the house I grew up in. And, like, it's just crazy to think that, like, how successful, like, how great of an upbringing I had. Like, when you look at it in that sense, I got to travel. We went on a cruise. We went to Dominican Republic. I've been to Jamaica. We went to Cedar Point. Like, I was really fortunate and got to do those kinds of things. I was definitely a middle class family, and that was even a, like, higher end middle class. I feel like middle class itself has, like, high end and middle end and low end. So I feel like I was, like, middle class, if that makes sense. And it's just really weird. Sorry, making sure there's no one around me. It's just really weird to think, like, I may not ever have that. And that's incredibly stressful. And, like, I'm fortunate. This is weird. I don't really want kids. I don't really see myself having kids. So, like, I have the benefit of, like, not having to have that additional income because, like, I have an older sister who's 3 years older than me, and both her and I still rely on our dad way more than we probably should. But at the same time, we look at other people and, like, they still rely on their parents. And, like, I don't know. It's just crazy to think. And, like, I know I don't have to, like, I know I'm young, I know I'm only 25 and I have so much life ahead of me, but at the same time, it's like I feel like I've wasted the first 25 years of my life not knowing what the fuck I'm doing and not working towards this end goal that I want to be successful and happy. Like, the possibility of me owning a house one day is pretty much next to nothing right now because of how little money I make. And the jobs that I am currently, like, able to work at, like the jobs I'm qualified to do, don't make a lot of money. They're all pretty much entry-level positions because even though I have, like, even tourism and travel, the money you make in that is very low. Like, you don't make a lot of money unless you've been doing it for many years and you make decent commission, but that's as a travel agent. I didn't really want to be a travel agent. I don't really see myself sitting at a desk, like, being that. Like, I don't know, like, I'm so lost with what I want to do. And it's crazy because, like, I feel like there's so many of us that are, like, in my situation that just don't know what they want to do, but at the same time, it's like, there's so much pressure to know what you want to do, especially, like, you know, all of elementary school, you're taught, like, pathways and stuff, like, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do when you grow up? And then you go through high school and you actually have to take, like, civics and careers, and you start learning about how to do interviews and, like, what kind of jobs you want. And of course, you have to choose your high school courses to be able to apply for your college or university programs. And then you have to start thinking about that when the time you're in, like, 10th grade, 15 years old, whatever, you know, I'm a completely different person than I was 10 years ago. Why would I have known what the fuck I wanted to do 10 years ago? And then you graduate at 18 and you're expected to just go off and figure it all out. And it's just crazy because it's like, I don't know what I want to do. I have no idea what I want to do. And, like, the things that I thought maybe working with animals, so working as, like, a vet tech or something, but, like, I'm really bad with blood. I'm really emotional, and I realistically would not be good at that job. I couldn't stomach that job. And, like, I don't know, like, it's just, I don't know. I wanted to have a job, a career that means something to the world, which is why agriculture also kind of interested me, because in the end, there's a car and I got stressed, sorry. But yeah, like, in the end, I want a job that means something to the world, that has, like, a positive impact, and it's not just something that, by the way, look how pretty this is. Not just an impact, like, something that doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't want a job that create something worse for the world, or a job that means nothing in the end. Like, I don't necessarily need to be, like, remembered or something myself, but, like, I want to leave knowing, like, I had some sort of impact, whether that's like, again, like agricultural or recycling or like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. And it's just, I don't know. It's just crazy. And I feel like I needed a little rant to get that out, to see if like other people are in this weird, like, especially like, this is kind of depressing. I think I may have mentioned this before. Like, I was also really depressed and really suicidal when I was in high school, so I also never really saw myself living to 25. So now the fact that I am alive is even more of a stressor, because like, I'm not suicidal. I'm still depressed, but like, I'm okay being alive. But like, I don't know what I want to do, and I never really thought I'd actually have to figure it out. Now I do, and I need something that's going to sustain my life. And you know, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm kind of a little, like, I want to say bougie. I'm not bougie, but like, you know, I want to travel and I want to own things and I want to be able to go places and I want to have pets and I want to maybe own a house. Like, there's things I want that aren't like that crazy to think you want, but like, they just seem so incredibly far out of reach for such basic things that I had growing up. And it's just fucking crazy. It's just fucking weird. So I don't know. That's my weird little rant spiel. I think I've been talking for like 15 minutes or something. I'm sorry. I don't know. Thanks for watching if you happen to see this. Bye now.